Welcome in, folks. As you see who's on the screen, Sean P. Diddy Combs, who's pretty much taken over all the news outlets, all of social media. It's a big polarizing story. New filed lawsuits came in today for Sean P. Diddy Combs. The story is almost so polarizing that it seems like you cannot talk about it. A lot of people was affected in this situation. And it's still a big shock to a lot of people. When this story first came out, it was a shock to a lot of people. Yeah, we know about the Tupac situation and the Biggie situation, from 96 and on from Tupac, at least allegedly, right? But when this news came out recently, you want to talk about the shock waves that it sent through. Never knew that this guy was involved in all of this stuff allegedly that has came out. All the women, all the men that he allegedly was involved with has come forward. The video, the 𝐃𝐎𝐍𝐶 video, everything leading up to it, just shocking. A lot of people involved, a lot of people was hurt. But like I say, the man is innocent until proven guilty. He deserves that. As much wrong we want to put on him, he at least has that. He has a chance to prove his innocence in court, which he will do once they go to trial. But I gotta tell you, all this evidence, man, if they have this evidence and it's not smoke, this man is not gonna stand a chance. It's too much coming out on a weekly basis. And now we're sitting here with 2 women and 4 men filing new lawsuits against Sean Combs today. And they're all represented by Houston attorney Tony Buzbee. We're going to get into the article. If y'all don't know me, I'm GDW, Goodymo the Warden. This channel here, I haven't been posting for a while. I mean, I just cranked it back up a few weeks ago, but I think it's been about a year since I posted anything on this channel. So I'll tell you one thing, this story gives you a lot of ammo. I will say that, because it has enough information on it to talk about it every day. But I'm not going to talk about it every day. I'd rather do other things than talk about Sean P. Diddy Combs every day. Now, if new things come up, might post a video or article or something to, bring some light to it. But other than that, I'm not going to sit here and talk about Sean P. Diddy Combs every day. They're going to work that out in court, and the people that was involved and who was a victim, prayers go out to you, and hope you seeking justice. The ones that haven't came forward yet, hope you gaining strength to come forward and have your day in court. Have your day in court. And if all this is true, what this man is being accused of, yes, he does need to go to jail. No doubt about that. If he can prove he's innocent and all this is just smoke and lies, and I'm pretty sure he's going to want to file a few suits himself if all this turns out to be smoke. But we're going to get into this article today. New lawsuits. 6 new accusers in this situation. So wardens, let's get into it. The Houston lawyer who promised a wave of new lawsuits against Sean Diddy Combs filed his first complaints Monday on behalf of 2 Jane Does and 4 John Does who alleged they were the victims of violent sexual assaults between 1995 and 2021. One plaintiff claims he was 16 years old when Combs allegedly assaulted him at one of the music mogul's famous white parties. Lawyer Tony Buzbee recently touted his representation of 120 people who claim they suffered disturbing abuse by Combs. The 6 new lawsuits, filed in the Southern District of New York under the city's Victims of Gender Motivated Violence Protection Act, Combs' attorneys largely denied the accusations in the lawsuits in a statement provided to the Rolling Stone. The press conference and 1-800 number that preceded today's barrage of filings were clear attempts to garner publicity. The statement read, Mr. Combs and his legal team have full confidence in the facts, their legal defense, and the integrity of the judicial process. In court, the truth will prevail. That Mr. Combs has never sexually assaulted anyone, adult or minor, man or woman. A John Doe who lives in North Carolina is the first male to allege Combs assaulted him when he was a minor. The plaintiff claims he was 16 years old in 1998 when he attended one of Combs' legendary Hamptons-based white parties after being invited through a mutual connection. Doe claims he bumped into Combs during the event and took a photo with the Bad Boy Entertainment founder that's included in the filing. He says they discussed Doe's interest in the music industry and moved to a private area where the conversation took an unexpected turn for the worst. Combs allegedly told Doe to drop his pants and expose his hot dog. And we're going to call it a hot dog. We're not going to get too X-rated. So that's how we will address private areas on this video. So expose his hot dog so Combs could inspect it. The lawsuit states when the team resisted, Combs allegedly responded, "Don't you want to break into the business?" The lawsuit claims that Combs then grabbed John Doe's hot dog and genitals with his hand and began squeezing and feeling the teen's genitals. Afterward, Combs allegedly told Doe that his people would be in touch. The alleged encounter continues to humiliate and cause shame, Doe's lawsuit claims. Another plaintiff claims that she was assaulted by Combs in 2004 when she was 19 years old. The Jane Doe alleged she was a college student in Brooklyn when she met Combs at a photo shoot promoting Combs' musical act, The Band. She claims Combs invited her and her friend to an after party, but asked them to stop by his Manhattan Marriott Hotel room first. According to the 19-page complaint, someone in Combs' entourage suddenly grabbed the woman, isolated them in a separate room with Combs while allegedly telling them, "You know what you are here for." The Jane Doe alleged Combs instructed her and her friend to imbibe alcohol and Coca-Cola that he had prepared for them on a table. And of course, we're going to substitute the drug and we're going to call it Coca-Cola. I think y'all get the point of what I'm talking about. So imbibe alcohol and Coca-Cola that he had prepared for them on a table. Combs continued getting gradually more aggressive with the two women and eventually began forcibly touching them without consent. The lawsuit states, when they resisted, Combs ordered Miss Doe's friend to perform oral sex on him, or else he would have them both terminated. Can you imagine that? Just hearing these words, it's almost like a movie or a horror show. The woman says Combs ignored her attempts to resist and forced her to take her clothes off under threat of violence. Once she was undressed, Combs forced himself on her and began to sexually assault her. Combs fondled, groped, and ultimately arred Mrs. Doe. All the while she was begging him to stop, the lawsuit states. According to the complaint, Combs told the woman he would be leaving the room, but she had to stay alone in the dark, otherwise she would be terminated. After 30 minutes, a security guard told her she could leave, and she fled the hotel, her lawsuit states. A third lawsuit came from a Georgia-based John Doe who claims he was invited to a New York City party hosted by Combs in October 2021. The man claims he was picked up at the airport by Combs' associates and was offered ecstasy by Combs' employees at the event, which he refused. After consuming what he believed to be only an alcohol drink, the man claims the room began spinning, and he became disoriented. In a state of confusion, he attempted to remove himself from the situation, seeking a safe place, the lawsuit claims. As Doe tried to leave, a male voice told him to hold on, and he promised to help him. Doe claims he later woke up in a bedroom paralyzed, unable to move, speak, or fight back. He distinctly recalled seeing Combs above him, naked at one point during the assault, the lawsuit claims. During this time, plaintiff was sodomized by at least 3 men. The man describes the night as life-altering and says he has continued to seek therapy to heal from the traumatic event. He is suing for aggravated sexual abuse, assault, and battery. The fourth lawsuit came from a John Doe who claims Combs sexually assaulted him at a flagship Macy's Herald Square department store in Manhattan in May of 2008. The man claims he worked as an advisor for 𝐂𝐀 Clothing, a rival to Combs' Sean John line. He says he had previously met Combs on numerous occasions. Doe, who is now based in Ohio, claims he was inside the Macy's stockroom when Combs entered the space with 3 bodyguards. Doe claims he was suddenly struck in the back of the neck and fell to his knees. Combs approached plaintiff while plaintiff is still on his hands and knees and said, "Suck my hot dog, 𝐂𝐀," referring to the clothing line that plaintiff worked for. The lawsuit claims Combs thereafter forced his hot dog into the plaintiff's mouth and proceeded to forcefully and brutally orally plaintiff. The man claims that Combs and his bodyguards made threats towards him before leaving the stockroom. Combs then proceeded to hand out Sean John merchandise on the Macy's retail floor as if nothing had happened. The lawsuit says, Doe claims that although he tried reporting the alleged assault to Macy's security, nothing was ever done and he was later fired by 𝐂𝐀. In a fifth lawsuit, a John Doe claims he was also sexually assaulted at one of the Combs' white parties. The man claims mass security hired him to work the Hamptons event in August 2006, where Combs allegedly greeted him and offered him alcoholic drinks throughout the night. By the second drink, the man felt extremely ill, leaned against his truck for support, the lawsuit states. While the security guard was in distress, allegedly because he had been drugged, Combs approached the man and pushed him into an open van, the complaint said. The lawsuit alleged Combs overpowered and sexually assaulted the man. He struggled to escape. The plaintiff says Combs dismissed the man's pleas for help and repeatedly saying, "You'll be all right." The man says that while he considers himself an all-American guy, there's not a day goes by without thoughts of the traumatic incident. The sixth lawsuit came from a Jane Doe who claims that she attended a promo party for the Notorious B.I.G. music video, One More Chance, at Elks Plaza in June of 1995. The woman claims Combs took an interest in her while she was dancing with friends and asked to speak with her privately. She agreed. They headed into a bedroom where Combs allegedly began kissing the woman. Feeling uncomfortable and confused, Doe asked him to slow down, believing they were there to talk, the lawsuit claims. Instead, Combs advanced aggressively. When Doe attempted to pull away, he violently struck her, slamming her head against the wall and causing her to fall to the floor. The woman claims that Combs hit her again before sexually assaulting her. Afterward, he allegedly threatened her, saying, "You better not tell anyone about this, or you will disappear." Describing herself as emotionally shattered in the aftermath of alleged assault, the woman claims she has since avoided news about Combs because it triggers traumatic memories. The 6 new lawsuits follow a dozen other complaints filed over the last year that allege Combs subjected people to sexual abuse during his heyday as a music industry impresario and gatekeeper. The flood of civil claims started with the bombshell and sex trafficking lawsuit filed against Combs by his ex-girlfriend 𝐃𝐎𝐿𝐿 last November. Several more accusers stepped forward in the weeks and months that followed, and a subsequent criminal investigation led Combs' indictment by a grand jury last month. Combs, 54, was arrested in Manhattan on September 16th, a day after the indictment's racketeering and sex trafficking charges were unsealed. In the 14th page indictment, prosecutors said Combs ran a criminal enterprise that engaged in unlawful acts of violence, including sexual violence, interstate transportation for the purpose of prostitution, narcotics distribution, arson, bribery, kidnapping, and obstruction of justice, Prosecutors said a main function of the alleged enterprise was to lure female victims into 𝐃𝐎𝐍𝐀's orbit, often under the pretense of a romantic relationship, and then use force, threats of force and coercion to make the victims engage and elaborate and produced sex performances that Combs called freak-offs. The extended sex acts often involved commercial sex workers and would sometimes last multiple days, prosecutors said. Combs allegedly distributed drugs to his alleged victims to keep them obedient and compliant, prosecutors said. Combs has pleaded not guilty to the criminal charges and was denied bail. Last week, a judge set a trial date for May 2025. We will let the allegations and the filed complaint speak for themselves, and we'll work to see that justice is done, attorney Tony Buzbee said in a statement. The Houston-based litigator filed the lawsuits in association with fellow lawyers Andrew Van Arsdale in California, Crystal Del Toro in Texas, and 𝐃𝐎𝐿𝐿 𝐶𝐓 in New York. We expect to be filing many more cases over the next several weeks, naming Mr. Combs and others as defendants, and we continue to gather evidence and prepare the filings, Buzbee said. Overwhelming. Very overwhelming. It's just too much to bear, all in one pot. And you have to ask yourself, is this just all smoke? All these people, are they lying? I don't think so. Because like they say, where there's smoke, there's fire. Do I think he's innocent? No. I'll be straight up with you. I don't think he's innocent. I have that right. That's my opinion. He will prove that in trial. He will prove that in court. They'll bring all this evidence up, and we're going to see where it stands. Going to have witnesses. Going to have victims. When all is said and done, I just don't believe that this man's going to walk away clean. I just don't. It's just too much. If this man walks away clean, he has to be the definition of the Teflon Don. I will tell you that. It's just too much right now. It's piled up. A lot of people having the same story. Same story. And it's all adding up. So we're going to find out. Like they say, each week, new filings, new information, new proof, more witnesses, more victims. Will it ever stop until May? We still got to go to May. This thing can still grow larger and larger and larger. So y'all let me know what y'all think about this situation. What's your input on it? Do you think he's guilty? Do you think he's innocent? Is this the biggest story that's hit the news in some time? Is this bigger than the OJ trial from back in the 90s? So I'd like to hear from you. I appreciate it. Thanks for your time. And yeah, another sad situation. But like I say, it's going to get all worked out in court, and then all this be put to bed. Everybody already got their thoughts anyway on, you know, how they want it to go or how they believe it's going to go. So appreciate it. Y'all enjoy yourselves. We're here on this Making It Monday, just trying to get it over with. And take care. Peace.